What's good, people of the internet? We're back with another video, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about selling your soul. What does it mean to sell your soul? All right, so I'm about to break this down into two different categories because there's actually a few different levels to this, but obviously we want to make it to where it's easily understandable. So I'm putting in two categories. I'm going to talk about everyday selling, and then I'm going to talk about the Hollywood rituals and what's going on in the entertainment industry. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. First of all, we need to understand, what does it mean to sell your soul? Because I hear some people think that it's a metaphor. Some people say that it's metaphorical. And I've heard others say, like, it's not a metaphor, but it's that you don't necessarily just do it in general, but you're selling your soul to the devil. And from our scholarship and our awareness, we understand, if you're on this channel, you probably already are aware of this, but the devil is a metaphorical character. Okay, so the Bible is an allegory that was written. Basically, an allegory is something that's not supposed to be taken literally. So when we refer to this character called the devil, we're actually referring to our lower desires, our three-dimensional, third eye blind, unaware self who's not at our highest intelligence. Okay, so of course, somebody who's vibrating at their lower chakras is somebody who's going to want things that are very earthly and worldly. So they're going to want things like money. They're going to want things like status, you know, things to fulfill their ego. So this is somebody who might end up selling their soul. All right. So the everyday people who do this are people who actually, it's not as complicated as you might think. It could be as simple as you going against your personal belief systems or your morals in order to gain something material or something external. All right. So really on an everyday basis, people are selling their soul. They're just not realizing it, because your soul can be essentially acknowledged as your human experience. So if you're putting a price on your human experience, say for $15 an hour, you just sold a part of your human experience, because by the hour, you're putting a price on your time. Okay. So anyways, there's people who go every day. They're going to a job that they do not really want to go to. They're doing things that they don't really desire to do, but they might feel like it's necessary in order to get to where they need to in this material world. Okay. Realistically, though, anybody who is very self-aware, which is, you know, it's quite few people, to be honest, but as you become more and more self-aware, it's going to bother you more and more whenever you go against what you truly believe in. So if you give in to peer pressure, for example, if you know you're not supposed to be drinking alcohol, and say you have like a family history of alcoholism, but you're at a party with your friends and all of a sudden all your friends want you to drink and they're pressuring you into doing it, and you do it, you just sold out. That's one way of looking at it. Okay. So if you're going to a job every day that you really don't want to go to, you don't even like this job, but you feel the need to go to this job in order to get that material status, you know, that house, that apartment, that car, you know, keep paying for that stuff, you're going to feel like you're selling your soul. That's what that is. It's like it's going against what you really want, and you're not going to feel very good about doing it, but you might do it anyway, and that's going against yourself, and that's living backwards. Now, when we look at people who sell their souls, we might say that they're evil people. Living backwards is that exact thing. When you spell the word live backwards, it spells out evil. So when you're going against who you truly are and what you really want, that's you selling your soul. All right. So in Hollywood, it's a little deeper. Okay. So these people are getting initiated into an entire religious system where it's a whole program that these folks got to go through. So it's not as simple as just going to work. All right. So you're getting somebody to tell you what to do, and somebody basically owns you, regardless of what category you're doing this in. If you're doing this every day, your boss owns you, or at least they do while you're at work. But at least for you, you being the person who is just going to work and going home, as soon as you clock out, you can do whatever you want to do. But these people in Hollywood, they're committing their life, potentially their eternity to this. So it's a lot deeper, and they're going to a lot lower lows. So you might just be going to a job that you don't want to go to. But these people over here who want to be the most famous people on earth, they want to be the wealthiest people on earth, and they want all the power and status and influence and all that stuff, These people are willing to do way lower things. So I'll just give you a few examples so that we're making sense out of this. You're not doing this for the devil, but these Hollywood people believe that there is a such character as Satan. And of course, when enough people believe in something, it's going to start appearing to be real. If they're only looking through these two eyes, because once again, they're vibrating from their lower chakras, then of course, they're going to actually believe in what they're doing, and they're going to think that Satan is giving them things, not knowing that the whole time you're creating this reality. And that's the thing that blows my mind about these people, because they're doing all of this stuff in order to gain all of these things, when really they could have just put together a plan, believe in themselves, and get to work and start creating. When you know that you're the creator, you wouldn't dare put a price on your soul. So anyways, continuing this on. In Hollywood, there's usually 3 different ways that they'll get you to go into this, depending on what you want and how big you want to be and all of that stuff and how much you want. But basically it goes like this. If you're a man, and say that, remember, the whole point is for them to get you to start living backwards. So if they know you're a heterosexual man and you take pride in being a man, they're going to try to take away your manhood. They're going to get you to give away your manhood. So they're going to buy it from you. So maybe for a certain, say, movie role or for a certain record deal or something like that, they'll try to make you take your pants off in front of these grown men, and they might try to have sex with you, and you have to allow it. It could be something like that. It could be something even darker, though. Some of these guys do was human sacrifices. So they might get your best friend, or they might get you to sacrifice your closest friend. So all of a sudden, now you have somebody who loves and cares about you, and you love and care about them. But now that you don't have them to give their energy to because, well, they're dead now. Now you're going to put that energy into whatever craft it is that these people want you to fulfill. Okay. So you got to remember that all of this is like witches and warlocks and wizards having at it on earth. Like everybody is a creator and we all got magic powers and stuff. So the only difference is that some people are more aware of this than others. But when there's people in Hollywood, you got to recognize that Hollywood is actually referring to the wood that comes from a specific tree called the holly tree. And when you break a branch off of this tree, you can use it as a magic wand. But that's a whole another subject for another time. We got to get a little more specific about selling your soul. Okay. So these people are willing to go against the life that they truly are living as far as being on the proper path and their natural selves, and they're going in the opposite direction. So if life is a spiral, you're spiraling in say clockwise fashion originally, they're going to get you to spin counterclockwise and go in a totally different direction and go against everything that you believe in, everything that you know. They're going to make you get rid of your friends. They're going to make you get rid of your morals. They're going to make you stoop to the lowest lows that you would ever stoop to. These people do rituals that are so disgusting, though, sometimes. They do things like sacrifice babies. They might do something like intentionally harm themselves in order for like I guess you could call it another form of a sacrifice or a ritual. And it gets dark, deep dark, and there's a lot to it. But I'm trying to keep this on the surface level. But also they do this thing where they make their appearance as far as who they appear to be in this world. They'll go against that too. So some of these people will intentionally humiliate themselves. So some of these people will do publicity stunts. And I'm sure you've seen some of the stuff like, for example, Kim Kardashian just goes and does this sex tape, and it's getting publicized all over the world and everybody's talking about it. And I mean, obviously she's doing that for the attention because she wanted to be famous. So there you go. There's one way of doing that. There's a whole another category of it when it comes to allowing these people to clone you. They can take your DNA. This is facts. This isn't even a matter of arguing if this is real or not. You can easily read a couple books about this stuff and see that it makes perfect scientific sense. And there's plenty of celebrities talking about it. So they might tell you that they want to clone you, right? So they'll take your DNA, take the nucleus out of it, put your DNA or put a different form of sperm or whatever inside that DNA, and you can clone a human being. So the human body has like an immaculate ability of growing. So it has the ability to rejuvenate itself. For example, if I cut my hand and I'm like, oh man, it hurts. All right, in a couple hours, it's probably not gonna hurt no more because my body has the ability to heal itself. So those cells start rejuvenating, and it can build that entire surface open again, or it'll fill it up again, and it'll well, rejuvenate itself. Same concept, but it'll do this with the entire human body. So if they take some of your skin cells and they put it in the proper environment and allow it to grow, and they feed it whatever the cells might need to be fed, you can literally grow another entire human body off of that junk. And they can do this unlimited times. So when these people in Hollywood sell their souls, they might actually do this and agree to have their consciousness transferred into different clones and stuff. I mean, I could do a whole nother video about consciousness transfer and human cloning and all that stuff, but I'm just trying to scratch the surface for you guys. If you want a deeper video about that type of stuff, just leave me a comment, let me know. I'm gonna keep this going though. So you got to recognize that the whole thing about selling your soul is about compromising your freedom. So somebody buys you for a price. They tell you what to do with your life. You become a puppet, or you become a slave to them. Whether that be your record label executives, or that be the boss at your job, or whomever it is who can provide for you the life that you think you really want to live. But the crazy thing is, a lot of the time people, they start to realize that they're not really being fulfilled by these material desires. And the reason why is because their higher self is being neglected. But here's the thing, bro. You can really tell if somebody has their soul or not. If you look them right in their eyes, you can see the light come out of our eyes when somebody is on the proper path. So it's pretty easy to tell somebody who is enlightened because the light is coming out of us versus the people who are, well, on the other end of the spectrum. And you look directly in their eyes and it's extremely dark and lifeless, really. Because once you've done so many things against your higher self, your higher intelligence or your soul can literally leave your body and abandon this reality. So you can be going against everything that you believe in, and you could be miserable, depressed, and all of that stuff. But if you're having to continue to live this, eventually you're going to want to leave. Just like whenever you're depressed here, like eventually if you're to a certain low of depression, you're going to want to escape this reality. It's the same thing, but it's a higher intelligence. So somebody's soul can leave their body, and your body is basically like a shell, and anybody, or it's like a house, and anybody can come in that house if nobody else is occupying it. So at that point, your body is like a vacant hotel, and any other form of spirits or demons or whatever you want to call it can actually come and possess that body. And that's why a lot of these people who get deep into that stuff in Hollywood, they start doing stuff like abusing drugs. And they start abusing, well, alcohol is a drug, but a lot of them abuse alcohol and stuff too. And they have lots of sex, and they're just trying to do something in order to feel again. Because once your psychology is shut down, you can't feel anymore because, well, your soul has left your body quite literally. And then you're just down here roaming around as a lost soul. I'm sure you've heard that term before. I did a video at the very beginning of this channel called Soul Retrieval, How to Feel Again. I think it was something like How to Feel Again. It was about soul retrieval, though. I might leave it in the cards right now. But you got to look in somebody's eyes. And the crazy thing is, a lot of these people down here on Earth, they don't have the courage to look somebody directly in their eyes. And that's the easiest way to be able to read truly if somebody is real or not, if somebody is a legitimate person or not, or if they're just like a computer generated type of person on Earth, because we're living in a computer. This is a video game. And just like in other video games, you have the real player, and then you have the computer generated type of beings who just kind of like get in the way and keep stuff interesting. It's the same thing down here, man. But if you don't directly look people in their eyes and feel them, you can't even tell if you're dealing with a legitimate person a lot of the times. And you can easily be fooled down here if your third eye isn't functioning properly and you're not seeing through this illusion. Okay, so I want to tell you this short story about this person I met who actually sold his soul, and he told me about it. If you made it this far, then this is the gem that I'll leave you with. All right, so this guy, he told me that he wanted to have this like massive sex orgy with a whole bunch of women. I think he said something like 16 women or something like that, and he wanted to do it. All right, so he was willing to sell his soul in order to get what he thought would make him happy. Okay, so now he just started this downward spiral. He was willing to go against his integrity in order to get this. So the reason why people call it the devil is because it's kind of like the guy who won't leave you alone. That those lower desires won't leave you alone, because once you start and you get into it, you're going to start getting so deep into it, it's like you can't leave. And that's what happens with a lot of these celebrities and stuff. They feel like they're so deep into it that they can't leave. They're like, I gave my soul to this. Like I dedicated my entire life to this, and now I can't quit, even if I wanted to. And that's kind of how he is. So this guy, it starts off with something as simple as, I just want to have sex a few times. But so let me just give you the entire scenario. If this guy goes to a pimp, right? This pimp has access to all of these women, and he's like, okay, Mr. Pimp, I would like to have 16 of your women. The pimp's like, all right, well, that'll be $300,000, for example. And he's like, man, I don't have $300,000, but you know, like I could work for you or something. All right, so there's the putting a price on your time, putting a price on your soul. So he's like, okay, well, if you want to have sex with these 16 women whenever you want, actually, I'm also a drug dealer, and I need you to deliver these drugs to the other side of the country. You're going to have to smuggle them through this, and this, and you're going to have to go through all this stuff. I'm trying to keep it short, but basically, he's going to have to travel and do something else he didn't want to do because he doesn't want to be a drug smuggler. He just wants to have sex with these women. But because he wants to have sex with the women, he's willing to stoop to other lows in order to get to what his goal is. Whatever that may be, it depends on the person. But for this guy, it was the sexual thing. So now he's willing to become a drug smuggler just in order to get the taste of that reality that he wants. So now he's doing not only just one thing that is wrong, or quote unquote wrong, he's living backwards in multiple ways. So now he's doing that. He's doing the other things that the pimp wants him to do. And of course, the pimp's going to make a slave out of him. So every chance that this guy gets, he's going to make sure, okay, yeah, I need somebody to do something for me. Let me call this guy because he wants to keep having sex with my women. So it just goes like that. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And of course, as he gets deeper into the drug smuggling life, say he gets caught, right? All of a sudden he gets caught. Now he has to start telling lies about where the drugs actually came from and what he's actually doing and what his intentions are. Now he's stooping even lower. You see how it can compound on itself? That's how it goes. And it goes like this in every scenario. Even if it's just the everyday selling, if you're just on some everyday selling, it's the same concept. You start getting this job because you just want enough money to pay your phone bill, for example, or maybe pay your credit card off. But then all of a sudden, they're starting to pay you more money as you get more seniority. So now they're getting you deeper and deeper into it. So now, not only are they giving you more money, now you pay your credit card off, but now you want to buy a house too. So they'll start giving you enough money for you to be able to pay a mortgage. So now you go into a massive amount of debt to buy a house. So now your mortgage is hanging over your head for the rest of your life. It's called a mortgage, M-O-R-T. I don't know if any of y'all speak French, but in French, mort means death, and more is death. So it's an agreement. Gauge, like an engagement, is an agreement or a pledge. So a mortgage is an agreement to your death. So if you now have this mortgage that you're agreeing to, now you can't leave that job, or at least you feel like you can't leave that job, because now it's like, dang, bro, now I got this bill every month for the next 30 years or so. And now I have to keep working this job. I have to keep giving them my time. I have to keep selling them my time. And you see how it just compounds on itself. All of a sudden, you're paying for a house, a car, children, and everybody's depending on this income from this place, and you feel like you have no way out. Even if you know you don't want to work that job, you're going to keep working it. You're going to stay on there because you feel like you have no plan and no choice, and you don't have the self-awareness to know that you can get out of it and you can do anything that you want to do. All right. I feel like that video is long enough. I feel like I explained everything I needed to explain. If you really enjoyed this, make sure you give me the thumbs up and click the subscribe button. And if you got any questions or comments, make sure you leave them in the comment section. I'll read every single one of them. And until next time, guys, have a great one.